Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Diving into Mobility with Dylan. We just want to give you our biggest appreciation for last week's viewership and listeners with our episode 3 with Sean Jane, who is our employee number 1, like I was saying last week, and our director of business sales, and what I like to call my sourcing wizard. So today on episode 4, you are just stuck with Amber and I. We're going to go through some company culture, some questions we've had on LinkedIn and TikTok and all that good stuff. So I'm going to turn it over to Amber. We'll be sure to take all y'all's questions again this week. And again, thanks for joining us. So, Amber, what have you come up with for our fun question of the day, and whatever questions you want to grill me with this week?
Yeah, let's start with the fun one. We're gonna answer what day in your life would you like to relive?
Oh, it's almost like, do you want to relive something to change something and kind of,
Hmm.
change the past, like,
Yeah.
like a movie? Or do you want to relive it and go like, oh, that was awesome. I want to do it over and over and over again. So, um, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to let you go first while I think about it.
Okay. Well, now I have to think really quickly. Um, I would relive the day that I got my dog. That that was a big lifestyle change for me. And I never like had my own dog. I've always had family dogs. So it would just felt like a big step, and I really liked feeling like I had another member of the family. So I would relive that.
Okay. That almost makes me think I have to like give in and say the day my son was born. But,
Yeah, I was gonna say like,
I don't know. Maybe it's got to be something exciting. Probably like First Steps was really cool. Um,
yeah,
I feel like it just happened like that. Like all of a sudden he was walking. But I think if I can figure out a day that I really was like a turning point to everything to kind of relive to make it all better. But I'm gonna have to think on that one for a little while. I think I'll
okay.
answer it at the end because
Oh,
I always like to think of things as a stepping stone. Very big on the whole everything happens for a reason. Because even all of if I had a bad experience 10 years ago, it literally led to exactly where I'm at right now. Even if a bad point led to 5 more bad points. At some point, it got in there that this was exactly where I was supposed to be, sitting right in front of Amber with my dog snoring behind me and right here in this room. So I'll think on that one towards the
well,
end.
that's a
But
good
what
philosophy
are
to
some of
have.
these questions yeah, it makes it simple. I used that in my best friend's best man speech a couple of years ago. So, what are some of these questions we've gotten from some viewers that we want to make sure we address today?
Okay, so the first one is, can we talk about what CTS Mobility's company culture is like and kind of discuss why company culture is such a big deal?
Okay. I think what I like about CTS, we are a small business. So we probably, with our team in India, we're right around 100 people. And as we've said at the beginning, our India team is 100% our employees. They work with us every day. They're not outsourced, anything like that. So you always hear of technology companies, they send their stuff overseas. They don't know anything about the business. These guys and we mix and mingle every day. Same with our U.S. based office. We're always, trying to get to know each other as best we can, since we rarely get to see each other. But I think company culture wise, I've always been very independent in the training world. You're kind of secluded. You're at some points you're a part of a team, but at the same time, it's majority of the time you and your clients. So now, being more part of a team, being able to pick each other's brains or work with each other on different solutions. Everybody is so happy to help each other out. So, you know, there's Arturo that's behind Amber right now at the office in Austin that, him and I will team up on random services or strategic buybacks of equipment, or just, looking at referrals of other businesses that he knows or has worked with in the past. So it's things that you wouldn't normally be able to do at a large corporation. So now with CTS, our culture is just very flexible. We can always make changes on the fly. Anytime you need a leader to jump in with you on a meeting, they're there to do so. You might have one of the deployment guys that you need them there for backup, or a warehouse lead that's there for some customer questions. So I think that's what I like about here is being a small business. Everyone's happy to work with everybody.
The next one we're going to answer is, how do you personally stay motivated, and what inspires you to go to work and put a smile on your face and get through the day?
Okay. So, that'll be a good one for you too, Amber. But I think,
Okay.
like I said, I branch everything back to that kind of fitness world and those process goals, and what are we trying to accomplish? What is that full blown solution? And it relates perfectly to these small businesses or these medium businesses that we're working with, and even these large, huge enterprise customers that our enterprise team works with. So we'll meet with these customers. Sometimes they're strictly with us. Sometimes they're with our exclusive partner, Verizon, and we're simply understanding, what is the need here? What are you trying to do? What's kind of the dream thing you want this connectivity, this mobility solution to solve for? And here in the next week or two, I'll bring on Marty Gleason, who's been with CTS forever, and he is huge on the 4 pillars. And I always kind of brace it to is like, all right, what do you need? What's the reason for that? How's it going to help you in the future? And what can I do to assist? So, and that maybe that's going to include me bringing on other pieces of my team, other pieces of the technology space, or something that I know nothing about. But that's always my goal, is to figure out kind of how do I solve this problem. So just keeping me motivated is always kind of more of a scorecard of like, all right, did I solve their problem or did I not? And then if I didn't, what do I need to do to fix it? And then, of course, always want to be able to provide for my son and make sure this dog back here can eat. So, that's always important as well. But if you can't solve the customer's overlying issue, you're never going to make money anyways. Amber, what about you? You have to now show up to the office every day.
Mm-hmm.
No more classes, no more school. What's kind
Thank
of keeping
God.
you motivated to be in the adult world?
I think the thing that motivates me is the desire to learn, because I am so new, just career-wise. So every day I wake up and I know something new is going to happen. I'm going to experience something I haven't experienced before. I'm going to talk to people I haven't talked to before. And I mean, that inspires me just to like be on top of it at all time on all times. Um, just to make sure I know everything that's going on, and I don't know, that satisfaction of knowing that I have learned something or I've gained something, educationally or professionally, or just, I don't know, socially, just talking with my peers. It's just, I think that's a great feeling to have. And I think that's what motivates me.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, going from a guy that was all about the fitness world, the training, nutrition, to this, I mean, I don't know much about anything in this world, but I seem to keep learning, and people say that I know what I'm talking about. So that's cool with me. Amber, let's get us one more in, and then I got to go pick up the kiddo in the bus today, because it's 100 degrees outside. So
Oh boy.
let's knock out a good one for our listeners.
Sure. So this is a two-parter, but same question. It's, what is the most challenging and what is the most rewarding part about working in technology?
So most challenging is to definitely get through to these teams that we work with, and the customers especially, that I'm not here to sell you something. Like that is of course what I'm weighed on, and what our Verizon teams are weighed on, and our partners, of course. But my overlying goal, is to figure out what your issue is and how can I best solve it. Sometimes that might be something that is completely free. Sometimes it might even be something that is not through us whatsoever, and I'm not going to make a dime off of you. But regardless, I'm going to tell you which one it is and how best to solve your issue. So my favorite things that happen are when we do run into a really awesome customer, an awesome team, and they understand that and they actually appreciate it once the project is completed. And they're like, look, you didn't have to spend hours and hours and hours on this with me. That is not your job, and you did it anyways. Because we even have people on my team that say, Dillon, that's not your job. Like, that's not, you are not the router support. You are not the connection issue guy. Like, don't mess with it. And what I tell each and every one of these reps for the teams that we work with or the OEM partners, I'm like, look, as soon as I meet with that customer, it has now become our customer. It has now become CTS's customer. So my goal is to be that bridge of that relationship, but also my name is now on that. So whether it goes well or it goes really crappy, that's on me. So that's probably definitely the biggest challenge and biggest reward is to find when a customer just really understands, like, hey, these guys actually have my back. They're not trying to just get this tick mark off for the month and see you later. You know, as my guy said a couple of weeks ago, you know, like, know, and trust, because if they start to trust that CTS and myself has their back, then you know, then they're going to like us. So, and if I can remember things about them and they remember things about me, then and that's going to you know, make them know who we are. So, Amber, from y'all's point of view at the office, what's kind of something challenging day to day? I feel like I got to hear something juicy.
Well, I don't know about everyone, but me specifically, it's a little challenging to understand all the technology that we have and are giving and everything. 'Cause I don't work directly with any of that. So when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's just a bunch of numbers and letters. I've never heard of that combination of numbers and letters before. And so that's challenging for me is to fully comprehend what technology is what. What does everything do? How does it all connect to each other? But I would say on the flip side, the rewarding part is when all those moving parts with all the people that are working on this one case or anything, when it all comes together, at the very end and every party is happy, that's pretty rewarding to see everyone's hard work paid off and the customer happy essentially.
So, thanks for listening today for our very off the cuff episode 4 of Diving into Mobility
Hold
with
on.
Dillon.
You never
And
answered the question of the day.
oh, whoops.
What
Let's
day
see.
in your
It
life would you
was
like to relive? That's the
would I
question.
like to relive? Maybe first time I like drove that bus by myself, or
Oh
when me and
yeah.
my son drove it together, which was such a surreal, you know, putting him in a car seat at like 18 months old in a 40-year-old
Oh.
bus. Or so it's always hard to dial in one specific day. I never want to go back and like change the past. So maybe I'll go with like the you know, the first steps type thing or whatever. But I'll work on that. So thanks everybody for tuning in. But we appreciate your listening. Please be sure to leave some comments. Subscribe to the YouTube, the TikTok, the Instagram, the LinkedIn. Make sure you leave any questions you might have, and we will be sure to address them next week on a bit of a Q&A. So thanks everybody.